So in between building my business, studying for my degree and recording this podcast, I try and stay as productive as possible every day so I can get everything I need to get done. At first I really struggled to stay productive. I think that was because there were new things, I was still learning how to do them, but now I've got much better. What used to take me about 3 to 6 hours, now I can get done in about 1 or 2. And along the way, I developed these 3 weird productivity hacks or habits that have helped me stay more productive so I can get the podcast done, run my business and study for my degree. Before we get into the video, I'll give you the weekly rundown of how everything's been going in my business. What I thought I'd do is give you the kind of one big mindset change that has only just come to me over the last week, which I think will really help me going into the future. I was taking a look at all the work I've been doing and I've kind of realised that a lot of it has been filler work that's not really going to have the biggest return on my time for growing the business. Obviously my priority right now is growing the business, getting as much experience as I can, getting as many clients as I can and developing the skills. And a lot of the work I've been filling my time with in the library and things is things like building a website or making some changes to my website or building this new funnel that I'm doing. And like that is good and it's also building on those practical skills, but really my key focus should be on growing the actual business and getting more clients in, which is kind of where my mindset has changed. I've realised that a lot of the work I'm doing is sort of procrastinating. Maybe it's fear of failure and not getting the clients, but I need to be stopping doing the work that's not actually getting me people in and actually doing the work that is going to have a high impact and get people in. Yeah, that's kind of the rundown of the mindset change. I thought that would be a quite a cool little update for where I was going. So my mindset has completely changed. It's now no longer the tiny tasks that I stretch out for a long time that don't really have a big return, and it's now full focus on just getting more clients and getting more clients and getting more clients. Yeah, on with the video. So starting at number 1, the first weird hack that I use is chewing gum. So I have a very fidgety brain. I'm always thinking of new ideas. I'm always tapping my feet or like fiddling with my pen as I'm working. And I used to find it really hard to stay concentrated whilst I was working. But then I remember watching something and I heard this person recommend trying to chew gum and maybe that can help. So I started chewing gum and I found that it gave my brain something else to focus on and it kept me distracted, but not distracted too much. I know that some people like to listen to music because it helps them focus, but I found when I listened to music that it just distracted me and I would just start listening to the music rather than focus on the work I'm doing. But when I was chewing gum, it gave me something to do that wasn't too distracting so I could still focus on my work. So the second productivity hack I like to use is having a timer out on my desk. Now I found that having a timer out on my desk is really helpful for getting things done in the time frame that it should or you estimate that it should take for you. I don't know about you, but when I do jobs and I don't really keep track of how long for, sometimes they just take ages and I look back after and I'm like, why did that take me so long? Like that was just posting on LinkedIn or drafting a video for YouTube. It shouldn't really have taken me 4 hours to do that. And I found that what used to happen when I was doing these tasks is my mind would just be getting distracted with other things and I'd be filling the time with checking my phone, going on social media, or just fitting in other jobs that weren't really important to the job at hand. So I've found that if I put a timer down though, and I say, okay, give myself an hour, but I have to actually be able to see it ticking down, that enables me to stay very focused on the task because I know I have that hour and that I should just pour as much as I can. Now this is something that's called Parkinson's law, and if you follow productivity or you know a lot about productivity, then you've probably heard of this rule before, but if you haven't, it's basically that whatever time you allocate for a task you'll expand it out so that it takes that time to fulfill it. So if I give myself 2 hours to do all my LinkedIn stuff, then I will stretch out the jobs for that amount of time to get my LinkedIn stuff. So if you know that you should only really be taking an hour to do a job and you get your timer out and you set an hour, then by Parkinson's law, you should only really have that 1 hour. And I found that having that timer out enables me to stay very focused because I know I only have that time. So yeah, hack number 2 is getting a timer out and setting the time you want to do the task. And the final productivity hack, which is not really that weird, but I thought it was important, is at the start of every single day, I write down a to-do list of everything that I'm going to do. And then I also have a separate smaller to-do list for all those little jobs. Let me explain what I mean. So the jobs I've got to do today are filming this podcast, editing the podcast, I've got to film a course that I'm doing for my business, and I've also got to meet some potential clients. So they're on my big to-do list, and I write down, they're like my 4 main jobs that I do. Then I have my separate to-do list for each of those jobs individually. So take editing the podcast, for example. There are a lot of small tasks that come with editing the podcast. For example, I've got to color code it and also make sure the audio is right. So I write down a to-do list of all those little jobs and tick them off as I do them. Now the small to-do list is really good for one important thing, which is that it makes sure I get all the jobs that are quite easy to forget, like I could forget to color correct the video, and it makes sure I get them done and I don't forget to do them. So that's very, very good. The bigger to-do list is great for just making sure that at the end of the day I can see exactly what I've done and that everything gets done. I've also found that it helps me stay on track and keep to the plan that I had for the day. That way that all the important jobs get done so that I'm never falling behind and I'm always staying ahead and getting everything that I need to get done. And yeah, they are the 3 kind of weird, but the last one not so weird, productivity hacks that I use to run my business and balance studying for my degree and doing the podcast and things. They help me get everything I need to get done, and they have saved me a lot of time and just organised my life a bit more. And I hope that you found them helpful. Comment down below what productivity hacks or tips you use to make sure that you get all the work done you need to get done.